people should be a little bit nicer and a little more understanding, because don't think that it can't happen to you. So yeah, I don't think people understand that it is such a privilege to not be addicted to drugs, alcohol, etc., etc. Literally, to be mentally, cognitively intact and to be able to have clear thoughts, being able to be in your right state of mind is such a huge fucking privilege. Because one time I had a patient, may they rest in peace, they were struggling really hard with their addiction, and the doctor saw them and said, look, you need to stop doing this particular drug because you will die, right? Plain and simple. They have cancer, they're getting chemotherapy, you're getting immunotherapy. If you know, you know. Bro, this patient would not stop using, which I get. You're addicted. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you're fighting for your life, but you're not in your right state of mind. Of course, it's not registering you how serious it is to remain sober and to abstain from your addiction. They were still using, and by the time they got to me, they were still a full code. And baby, that patient, bedbound, mucositis. If you don't know what mucositis is, it's basically inflammation of the mucosa or like mucous membrane. So, but in her case, literally from her mouth, because that's where most of your mucous membranes are, like facially, it's here, your eyes, whatnot. But she had literally mucositis from her mouth, throat, all through her GI tract. So, you know, her rectum for sure had mucositis. And it was so bad to the point that we had to put a bowel management system inside of her. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically like it's a rectal tube that we have to like insert in the rectum so that we can remove the poop, because her having a bowel movement will be extremely fucking painful. So basically she was just pooping out straight up blood. And of course her counts were down. They had leukemia. That was the type of cancer they had. And I'll never forget the look in her eyes. She gave me that look that said, girl, I fucked up. And I looked at her like, yeah, you did. You fucked up badly, but I'm still take care of you. You know what I mean? Like, why am I gonna shame you? You were down bad. You were down so bad right now. Why would I shame you for your choices? Clearly, you see the consequences, and I'm not going to talk in your ear and say, oh, you shouldn't have done the drugs, or you shouldn't have done X, Y, and Z, or you should have listened to the doctor. Absolutely, you should have listened to the doctor, but you know that now. And I did the best that I can to take care of that patient. And I would talk to them because they were still like, you know, awake, oriented. They just couldn't speak because their mouth was so swollen and they were in a lot of pain. And I gave them, you know, according to the doctor's orders, whenever I could give her